Let's look at verse 18 in chapter 28. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. Two things stand out here. One, this is the second time in chapter 28 that a covenant with death is mentioned, and the fifth time that some type of scourge is brought up. And remember, all of this began with the words, "Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkards of Ephraim, whose glorious beauty is a fading flower." In other words, all of these things, a crown of pride, a covenant with death, and an overflowing scourge, will relate in some way to Ephraim in the last days. So let's look at verse 18 again, but using other translations. I will cancel the bargain you made to cheat death, and I will overturn your deal to dodge the grave. When the terrible enemy sweeps through, you will be trampled into the ground. Your covenant with death shall prove void. Your understanding with Sheol have no effect. When the flooding scourge sweeps through, you shall be overrun by it. So, what is this covenant with death? It can be as generic as agreeing to do Satan's bidding, whether you know that's what you're doing or not, or it can be a specific agreement. In the Book of Mormon, we see an example of a specific agreement. And they did enter into a covenant one with another, yea, even into that covenant which was given by them of old, which covenant was given and administered by the devil to combine against all righteousness. Of course, any covenant with death would be administered by the devil. This covenant the Nephites made led to an assassination of their leader and eventually to a breakdown of society in which the people broke up into tribes and family clans. This seems to echo Isaiah's prophecy in his timeline for the last days, that when the economy fails, people will gather into tribes and family clans. So, going back to that evil covenant made in 3rd Nephi, it says, "Therefore they did combine against the people of the Lord, and enter into a covenant to destroy them, and to deliver those who were guilty of murder from the grasp of justice." Their evil pact, of course, was calculated to protect the guilty, in this case from death itself. But here in Isaiah 28, his prophecy is more general. He says the wicked of Ephraim will fall because of pride and separate themselves from the humble and righteous. He also says that when the overflowing scourge appears, these people will try to hide, but their hiding place will be discovered, as the Assyrian flood will fill every nook and cranny of their land. Now, let's consider a more specific possibility in the last days. Both Isaiah and the Lord speak of a leader in the last days, a servant, who will be marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. The Lord also implies that this marring will come from apostate members of the covenant. The Lord says that after this man has been marred and then miraculously healed, that the guilty who did this shall be cut off from among my people who are of the covenant. This parallels something we looked at earlier in the Book of Mormon. And they, the apostates, did set at defiance the law and the rights of their country, and they did covenant one with another to destroy the governor. In the last days, this servant will be a governor among the people. Jeremiah says, "And their governor shall proceed from the midst of them, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engaged his heart to approach unto me, saith the Lord?" It appears that in the very last days, when governments and economies crumble, when new leadership replaces old, that a secret faction will make a covenant with death in which they will seek the life of this servant. And after they've marred the servant, this secret combination will expect to find safety among their cohorts, but instead, the Lord will send an overflowing scourge to all of them, and they shall be trodden down by it. Again, Isaiah mentions this overflowing scourge 5 times in this chapter, and in nearly every instance, it's associated with rebellion and a covenant with death. Again, covenants with death can take many forms, both specific and generic, but they are always, in some way, administered by the devil. And in the end, they will always lead to pain and suffering. They will always lead to a scourge. In fact, as Isaiah says, the scourge itself will be the thing that ultimately annuls that covenant with death. Next time, we'll see that reports of the scourge, just rumors of its approaching mayhem, will cause immense fear, perhaps so much that men's hearts will fail them. I'm Curtis Taylor with the Words of Isaiah.